Hey, good afternoon there, Unity. We want to thank you guys for tuning in virtually. Unfortunately, we're not able to meet out in Washington, D.C., but we're very grateful and thankful that you're here with us for the next few weeks in our virtual conference. And I want to thank Unity, the headquarters, for, just plugging away for all of us, for all of our young people. So whenever you watch this, man, we hope that you enjoy it, and we just want to wish you the best of luck in this upcoming school year or summer school year, everything, that we can all come together again. And I want to introduce my wife, Tyler, who's a board trustee. Tyler, TJ, baby.
Hey guys. Yes, I'm a board of trustee. I'm Muskogee Creek. We live here in Oklahoma. Excuse me. But, it's a little different setup. We get to bring this to you, and we're here in our home. But we're still excited to be a part of all this and get to, still have our national conference, just in a different way, So, I guess I'll give a little background on what we're going to be talking about and what we're presenting today. I'm a former educator, former teacher, and I did that for many years. And it was just over time, I just wanted to see how I could take things to a new level and to the next level, And it actually kind of goes in line with what we're going to be talking about, which is called Visionary today. We're going to be talking about Visionary. And it's just, always having that vision and just knowing, that next goal for yourself and where you want to go, and life is a journey, and you're always, moving on it. So it doesn't matter, if you're a young person or an older person, there's always, places to go, things to do, things to accomplish, on that journey. So for me, it was, where can I take this, to the next level as an educator? And I just wanted to start venturing out and teaching all across the country and in Indian country. And so that's how I started putting together some of these presentations and workshops and things that Chance and I are doing together. And maybe some of you have already purchased or seen some of his shirts that he has. When he goes and travels, he's been, he'll have shirts sometimes. I know at the Unity conferences in the past, he's had them with him. And I just had the idea. I said, we should really put a message behind these shirts. You have a good message on them, but let's elaborate on it. Let's really develop it into something. And so that's kind of where this started. And that combined with some of our travel we did to up to his tribe in North Dakota, we spoke with some schools up there, and we kind of just put some ideas together and started developing a message for his shirts, and then we turned it into a full-blown program for the schools up there, the tribal schools up there. And so we did that all this past year. We just had a blast. Traveling up to North Dakota once a month. We'd go and we'd hit up, every community up there, and we were able to bring a message each time, to the kids and to the schools. And we just felt very fortunate, very blessed to have that opportunity to do that. And today we're going to share one of these messages with you, and it's called Visionary. And I don't know if you want to.
Let's go. We're going to hit the screen and work it all out. Share screen. Let's go do this. This one?
Yes.
Okay. All right. All right.
Okay, so we're going to share this screen with you so that you can follow along with our presentation and, and kind of just hopefully still be able to see us a little bit there as we speak, as we go. Do you want to start?
All right, here we go. So visionary, is obviously you make up your own mind what you want to do, what you want to become. You visualize something, you hone in on it, you focus, and that's what you want to do. This is crazy. June 26th, 1997, I was a keynote speaker at the Crown Plaza in Phoenix, Arizona at the National Unity Conference. That was 23 years ago today, well, 23 years ago tomorrow. And when I left that conference, I had this vision that I wanted to serve Native youth. I wanted to serve tribal communities. I wanted to make an impact and with Native organizations all across the country. I visualized that, and I had a lot of people that doubted me. A lot of people said that I probably couldn't do something cool like that, but it's something that I wanted to do. And if you have a vision, you know, you can go get it. You can go become anything that you want to become. But there's some things for me that I had to put into my visionary. And one of the things was being alcohol and drug free, being educated, taking care of my health, my wellness, so a lot of self-care. And, you know, I didn't have much growing up, but I knew that if I had a few things that I could put in, you know, put in my back pocket to help me along the way. So that was my vision. So with that being said, we'll get started here.
All right. So when I was thinking about, you know, putting together this message for a visionary, I actually even, you know, looked up the definition of a visionary because I wanted to really, you know, be accurate in how we describe this, you know, and what it is. And, you know, I had two definitions there. So the state of being able to see. And then the second one was the ability to think about and plan the future with imagination and wisdom. And that really stood out to me, those two words, imagination and wisdom. And I thought that's exactly what it is. You know, if you're a visionary, it's like you have to envision things for yourself that aren't real yet. It hasn't happened yet, but you're taking, you know, somewhere in there some wisdom that you have, something that you already have within you, whether it's a talent, whether it's, you know, some gifts that you have, things that you can do, and also experiences that you've learned already. All of us at this point are old enough that we've lived through something. You know, we have experiences that we take with us, and so we have that wisdom that we're building on. We just have to take that wisdom, and to take things to the next level, you have to kind of envision something for yourself. You use that imagination of where you want to go with that wisdom. What's going to be the next level for you? What's going to be the next steps for you?
Ready? Hunger, having a strong desire or craving. And, you know, just, you always want to figure, there's two things when I think of this. I think of, you know, we have our starving level and we have our hunger level. Our starving level, when we say we're starving, we throw everything down and we consume. When you have a hunger level, what you do is you satisfy your hunger. So the more that you grow, the more that you develop, you want to satisfy what you're becoming. You don't want to rush to something because you may get too full. You may not like what you just ate, or you may not like what you're doing. So when you're hungry, you know, you have to fulfill that appetite so that you can manage and keep moving. So when you're hungry, it's not all about like, hey, I'm going to do this, I'm going to become this, I'm going to do that. You got to understand what you're trying to become. Having a stronger desire or craving, strongly motivated, feeling an uneasy or painful sensation, you know, from the lack of vision. And so when I say that, strongly motivated means building who you are, building yourself.
Like in watching this, you know, and being a part of this presentation and this workshop, I hope that the word hungry starts to take on two meanings to you. You know, we all know that feeling and that sensation of being hungry and starving, and, you know, it's kind of uncomfortable. And sometimes we even get grumpy, right? You know, because it's just like, you know, I'm just so hungry. And, but from this day forward, I hope hungry also means, you know, that same feeling, that same uncomfortable feeling, you know, where you're just kind of like, I got to take care of this right now. I got to do something about this. I hope that feeling or that word also means, you know, that taking on that feeling because you want to go towards that vision for yourself. You have something you want to do. You have something you want to accomplish. You have something you know you can do. And you know you're capable of accomplishing some things, but you're so hungry for it, it almost starts to take on like an uncomfortable sensation, that the lack of moving towards it. So that hunger, that feeling that you have, it's what's going to be your drive. That's what's going to drive you and push you, even when things are hard, even when you're doubting yourself, even when you're not sure. That hungry feeling, that hunger is going to be your drive. It's going to be your push. So think about that, you know, from this day forward, you know, hungry, that has two completely different meanings.
Wow. Cool. Then we have change. Change always comes before growth. And that is absolutely true. You have to habit change. You have to seek change. You have to, you know, be about change before you can see growth. We can all say, you know, hey, I want to go to college, or I want to be alcohol and drug free. That's easy. That's the easy part to say, but to actually change habits so that you can become, you can find ways to grow to be what you want to become. because you can't have growth without change.
Also with this, it's like this sometimes is the hardest thing to learn, because with it, if there's something that's going to change in your life, if you're going to grow from it, it's going to require you to step outside of your comfort zone. And this was something that took me a while to learn, even especially as a young person, is learning how to embrace that uncomfortable, that uncomfortableness and stepping outside of that comfort zone. So it's it's just not, it's something where it's like when you are getting in that uncomfortable zone, it's like you just have to know, like, you know what, growth is coming from this. It's okay. It's okay to feel a little scared right now. It's okay to feel unsure of something because I don't know. You're scared of something when it is the unknown. And like we just talked about with it being your imagination and visionary, you're stepping into the unknown. So it's just being aware and embracing that uncomfortable feeling of change, but just knowing, like, from it, you're going to grow. In a month from now, what seems scary right now might not be scary in a month or in 2 months or in 6 months. So it's just kind of holding tight, keep pushing forward, even when you are feeling uneasy and unsure of yourself and a little, nervous and scared, and just keep pushing towards that goal, that dream.
Cool. Moving along here to being allergic to average. Creator will let you succeed on whatever level you set for. And I've said this in the past. Young people, if you look down here and you just only want to see, what's in front of you, and you never want to look up, then God will meet you there. Creator will meet you there, and Creator will meet you at that level. So if we're walking around a lot and we're down here, we're never going to look up, and we're never going to see what's up there. So, don't be average, elevate yourself.
And I think that so many of us are used to thinking like, hey, if we're average, we're doing okay. We're good, right? Mm-hmm. And that's again, a comfortable place to be. If you're doing what everybody else is doing, you're like, hey, well, it can't be that bad, right? I'm doing what everybody else is doing, or I'm kind of right along with everybody else around me. And obtaining that thinking, that way of thinking where it's like, you know what, I'm not going to just say I'm going to do what everybody else is doing and that's okay. I'm going to start to think, you know what, I'm going to be allergic to average. I don't want to be average. I want to be more than average. And in order to do that, I am going to have to take on that thinking of like, I don't want to be just average, and I'm even going to just be like allergic to it. When you're allergic to it, it's like you can't have it, right? And so being allergic to average means, you know what, if I'm going to really go towards what my vision is for me, because everybody has their own goals and what their own gifts, their own experience, their own wisdom. So if you're really going towards your vision, if you're going to be that visionary for yourself, you have to get that mentality of being allergic to average. You can't go with the crowd, because if you're being that visionary, it's not going to be what the crowd is doing.
That's right.
Okay. Oh, okay. Let me touch on that last one just real quick too. It says purpose requires participation too. So if you are allergic to average, you're following what your vision is, you're going to find that purpose for yourself. You're going to find everything you're doing, you're going to start moving with purpose. You're going to start moving because you have a goal in mind. You have a vision in mind for yourself. So your steps, your thinking, everything you're doing starts to require more and more purpose. But in order for you to have that purpose, you're going to have to get out and participate in things. You're going to have to get out and look and see what's available to you. What opportunities can you take advantage of today? What can you do to get active and participate so that you can start moving with that purpose and moving towards your vision for yourself? Nobody has ever become successful at anything by just, sitting back and laying in bed or sitting at home. So it's hard, it's uncomfortable. Like we talked about, that's where the growth happens, but the purpose requires you to participate and get up and make a move, no matter what that move is, no matter how small that move is. It's just making that first move is always what's most important.
Moving right along here. I like this acronym here. What grit is, what is your grit? Because grit is honest, and it's up to you, you know, the level that you take your grit.
So it says growth rejuvenates individual talent. And yeah, I like it because I like that word grit, you know, because it just sounds kind of like, you know, okay, you have to just like kind of get your hands dirty and, you know, get into this and get, you know, down to whatever it is you're going after, you know. It's not going to be pretty all the time. It's not going to be easy all the time. And so that word grit kind of says that, you know. And growth rejuvenates individual talent. So the more you're stepping outside that comfort zone, you're going towards that vision, you're going to, you know, it's going to require change. You're going to grow, you know, you're going to grow from that experience. You're going to grow from it. But in that growth, what's crazy is then with doing that, each time you grow from something, you're rejuvenating something within you. You're growing, then you're rejuvenating, you're bringing to the surface talents that you have, things you can do, confidence within you. Every time you grow from something, you're gaining more and more confidence that's going to take you to the next level in life or take you to the next step. And, you know, just by doing that growth, you may sometimes talents in that you have come to light that you didn't even know you had. You know, sometimes you get good at things and you didn't even know you could do that a year ago. So in that growth, it rejuvenates your individual talents, things that make you you, things that you can do that others can't do.
Mm-hmm. Wow, which leads us to this one, discipline. You know, 80% of success is showing up. That's the honest truth. 80% of anything, what you want to overcome, what you want to do. Like one example is fitness. You know, you want to get in shape, you want to, you know, get lean, whatever it may be. You know, 80% of it is, you know, what your intake is. So I always remember is the part that you think is easy is often the one that's the most challenging, you know, and that's how it is in life. Talent times effort equals skill. Skill and effort is achievement. Effort counts twice. So, you know, we can do what everyone else is doing, you know, like TJ said, you know, being a visionary, you got to go over there by yourself where not a lot of people go down that road. A lot of people, you know, it's an uncomfortable road sometimes. But in order to understand that, your effort counts twice. So when you put in a lot of effort, it becomes not easier, but it becomes more understandable so that you can keep approaching it.
Yeah, and then this goes back to that purpose requires participation, you know, so important. And what I love about this is, you know, a lot of times we are accustomed to like looking up to somebody or just seeing some athlete or celebrity or artist or whatever it might be, a musician, you know, somebody that's great, you know, anybody that's great at anything that we say, wow, look at what they can do. You know, that's crazy. You know, I could never do that, you know, but all of them started from someplace. And yes, I mean, some of us, we all have talents that we may be born with or that we just have, you know, things that we're kind of naturally good at or interests that we have. But if you don't do anything with that talent, if you're not participating and trying and putting the effort in with that talent, you're not going to gain skills with that. You're not going to really take it to the next level and, you know, gather like these skills that other people don't have, you know? So that talent, you know, everybody that's amazing at something started just with that raw talent at that raw talent level. And so it's like, you have to take that talent and multiply it with a lot of effort, you know, day after day.
Yeah.
And it's just consistent effort, you know, putting in that effort every day, which requires discipline. That, you know, if you to get up and do something when it's not easy, that's discipline, you know. But when you put that talent with the effort, you get some skills. You get skills that not just anybody can do. Then you take that skill and you multiply it again with a little more effort, you put more effort into it, and you start to achieve some things. You know, you start to get recognized for those skills. And then, but what I love about this message is that it's not actually the talent that's most important. It's not even the skills that you get that's most important. It's just putting in that effort and putting in the effort day after day, even when it's not easy. And that's where, you know, what equals success in the end.
Mm-hmm. All right, moving along right here.
People who look down will lower themselves down. And so this is kind of, I think Chance touched on that a little bit just now, but it's like, you know, we don't even realize it sometimes. And we're just kind of keeping our vision, not up here, not out there. Our vision's kind of just down here. And again, this can be when we get stuck in that, like, hey, I'm just doing what everybody else is doing mentality. You kind of get used to just like, this is what everybody else is doing, so I'm just going to kind of look down here and we're good. I'm with the crowd. But you never even fully recognize like what you can do as an individual, what your talents and capabilities are, and where you could go with it, how far you could go with it. And if you're always looking down, your eyes are never going to be open to what you're capable of doing and what the possibilities are for you. So it's important to know that. And just by knowing that, you can say, you know what, I'm going to look up every now and then. I'm going to look up and I'm going to see what else is out there for me. What else could I do? Did you want to add something to that? Okay. Disappointment. Okay. Has a disappointment, we've all, experienced that feeling. We're old enough now. It's like where we know that feeling where we've been let down by a situation, by people, by family, sometimes by, just something that just didn't go our way. It's hard, it's hurtful. And it says, has the disappointment of what has happened in the past kept you from believing what can happen in the future? And that is, again, it's something that's so easy to just let that take over us, that feeling of disappointment, that feeling of, it didn't work out last time. It didn't work out for me in the past. So I probably, won't be able to do this in the future. Or maybe that's not for me. Maybe college isn't for me. Or maybe, whatever it may be, this job over here might not be for me because I tried something kind of like that and it didn't work out. And, it's important to recognize that it's like those disappointments are experiences, and, we're going to keep them with us. It's like we take it with us, but what's important is just to learn from it and not doubt ourselves, not let that doubt take over what we're capable of still doing in the future.
I mean, if you think about that, how many of us right now, by a show of hands, have been disappointed with something and you didn't give up, right? And that's where we're at. You've been disappointed by something, you didn't win something, you have a setback, but you didn't give up. And that's exactly what this is being said here. As we move along here, man, we're kind of getting there. Our daughter, Gigi, kind of in a way talking about, just a game plan. When you're a visionary, you understand that there's things that kind of may go up and down, but you'll get there. Like here's an example with my Unity shirt. I kind of see this as a visionary because it's an arrow going that way. And you may have downs, but you're going to have ups. You may have downs, but you eventually you'll get there. It doesn't mean like, hey man, I want to do this. Boom, you're going to become it. I mean, you're going to have to go through some things. So an example was, our daughter, she went to she did a program at Miami last summer, University of Miami. And her mind was just all made up. She was set on it. This is what she wants to do. And from there, she set out to focus and hone in on what she wanted to become.
So she came to me and she shared with me, she's like, hey, this is a goal I want. She was approaching her senior year of high school and she's thinking about, what does she want to do next after high school? And she decided, this is a school I want to go to. I really want to get into this school, And so then that's when I kind of sat down with her and I was like, okay, well, there's things that you can control today that will get you to that ultimate goal. We don't go from like zero, here where we are today and we just achieve whatever our ultimate goal is. There's steps we have to do, steps we have to take to get there. And so that's when, this is just an example for her in particular that I kind of explained that to her. It's kind of like a pyramid, it's kind of like that triangle that you see there. And where you're laying the foundation, whatever you can control today to get you to that ultimate goal or to get you to whatever your vision is for yourself. It's important to start with things that you can do today. And all of us have something that we can control today and, changes we can make today that will start positioning us and start moving us towards whatever our vision is for ourselves. And so using this example, I sat down with her and I kind of told her about this. It's called the hierarchy of goals. You really do start, like, you're laying the foundation right now, whatever it is, it's in your control. And I sat down with her and I was just like, okay, what are some things that you can control right now today? And this was at the beginning of last school year, And she's thinking, okay, I can make sure I get to school on time. I can study and, watch my grades, make sure I get good grades. Things like controlling her own character, which then affects her reputation, and we talked about that, making sure she's making decisions, with her character and, for a reputation. And then trying to step up to the plate for those leadership roles. And she started, doing that more so that she had that in her, in her experience, and that people knew that and they identified her as that, like, that she's a leader. And so then from there went on to volunteer work, and then she did the Summer Scholars Program. She could focus on her scores, and then maybe ultimately her goal was to get accepted to UM. Mm-hmm. And the other thing that just want to point out real quick, sometimes in doing this and thinking about this hierarchy of goals, is that, your ultimate goal along the way, when you're learning things, you're experiencing things, that ultimate goal might change a little bit, or it might shift a little to the left or to the right. And that's good. I mean, that's fine. That's okay. And she did all those things. She laid all that foundation, did all that. And then ultimately, instead of going to UM, she's now just graduated high school, and now she's decided, okay, I want to go to the University of Oklahoma. So her goal changed a little bit, but ultimately she still got there in a good way.
So in this, though, you see the pyramid, a lot of things that we could do on a daily basis, but then you have to go out and put a little more effort to it. Effort counts twice. It takes a lot to volunteer, to repeatedly take the ACT score. I mean, the ACT, and then put in the effort on doing summer scholars, right? So as that pyramid goes, that's how you get rewarded. All right, passion. What is your passion? That's a question. Be telling us, what is your passion? Having the same ultimate goals is a steady way. Purpose requires participation. So, I know that you guys could all read that, but take that in right there. The point I want you to hone in on is purpose requires participation, right? It goes back to saying, yeah, you want to become that, but it actually takes participation. And in that participation, you're going to have a ton of pyramids, go to bed early, stay away from situations, whatever it may be. So it requires participation. So just know that. We're going to move along here real quick. One here that TJ, she came up with some really good questions here. Ask yourself, I'll go over two of them. When was the first time that you feared change? I think mine was when I left my reservation. I went from an environment that was, comfortable, and everybody knew who I was. And then I became the only Indian kid in the school here in Oklahoma. Did that fear keep me from growing? It didn't. At first it was rough. At first it was scary, but when I came to Oklahoma, I ended up being a starting quarterback of the football team. I eventually became one of the better athletes in our school, became a state champ. It taught me pyramid meet to become a kid who wanted to go to college. Went to college, pyramid again, national champ, got a college degree. So if I would have shelled up from the jump and said, no, I can't do that, I just can't do that because it's so uncomfortable, I'll never grow like I should, You want to do the last two?
Have you ever let disappointments of your past keep you from believing in your future? And, that's again, something that I can think of multiple times over my life that, that's kind of probably applies to that question. And one that just came to my mind just now is thinking of was when I was a young person. And, for a long time, I wanted to be, I trained for many years to be a dancer, ballet dancer, and even went to started going to a college for the arts in Miami, Florida for dance, and did that. And there were some disappointments I had along the way, things that I didn't achieve, things I struggled with. And it did set me back for a little bit, and I ended up not finishing that program at the School for the Arts. And and it was a setback. But what's important is that then it's like I had to pick myself up and say, okay, you know, what am I going to do from here? How is my ultimate goal now shifting or changing? You know, what's my new vision for myself? And that's what I did. And I then ended up, you know, taking my experience from that. I learned from it. And then I ended up, you know, going into education and became an educator. And that was kind of became a new dream for myself, a new vision for myself. And, you know, there was a little moment where I felt like, God, you know, that setback moment, but, you know, I ended up being able to believe in myself enough to kind of find that new vision for me. And, let's see, let's go to the next one here. Do you feel hungry about something? What are you going to do about it?
Eat a Snickers.
I know, I actually am hungry right now. But, you know, and I actually, you know, do you feel hungry about something? This crazy thing is I'm now, you know, in my early 40s and mom, you know, married, we have 7 kids together. And it's like, I still have that feeling, you know, like, what am I going to do next? Where am I going next with this? How can I, you know, grow and take it to the next level? So the good news is that's a good feeling to have, you know, because it's what's driving you, I guess, but I guess what's kind of interesting is that it never really goes away, you know, and it's a good feeling. It's a good, uncomfortable feeling to have. I think actually I would be more worried if I didn't have that hungry feeling. And if you don't have that hungry feeling, don't panic, but know that, hey, what can I be doing? You know, like that, maybe that's the awareness. Maybe talking about this right now today could be that awakening to an awareness of that. Like, you know, I'm gifted. I have gifts. I have talents. You all do. Everybody does. You know, what are they? What can I do? How can I take it to another level?
Wow, good stuff. As we kind of start running the final lap here, preserve. You know, my current situation is not my final destination. You got to go through things to get to where you want to go. Persevere. Sorry.
I was about to correct you. But
I know.
okay.
I was looking. I was like, wait a minute.
I was like,
persevere. Yeah.
I think that says persevere.
Yeah. My bad. Persevere. My current situation is not my final destination, but I was thinking of preserve anyway. You know. So,
yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So go ahead.
But yeah. So this is so important. You know, wherever you are today, if you keep that vision in mind, if you're being that visionary for yourself, you know that then it's like, you know, this is where I am right now. These are my circumstances today, but this is not, you know, my final destination. This is not where I end up, you know, there's always somewhere to go. Life is a journey that we're continuing on continuously. And it's like, so keep moving, keep pushing for that next vision for yourself and finding, you know, where you want to go. But what's most important is that word down there that Chance kind of messed up. It's not preserve, it's persevere. And persevere means persevere means that no matter what, you know, when those times get hard, because you will have those setbacks, and that's normal, you know, it's okay. It's just pushing ahead no matter what, when times are rough, when you do doubt yourself, when you do have others around you doubting you, you know, and that's hard to hear too. Like when you have those kind of those haters and people around you that aren't necessarily encouraging you, persevere, you know, no matter what, get up, persevere, keep going, keep pushing ahead. And I guess that's it.
All right. Well, listen, we hope you guys enjoyed our workshop, and we want you to stay tuned for the entire, you know, duration of our virtual Unity conference. We're very grateful and honored and thankful that we can play our part in doing a workshop for you guys. And if there's anything that, you know, if you have any questions, you know, just reach out to the Unity office, and I let them know, you know, that we did Visionary today and all that. So we want to thank you guys. How do you get out of this here?
Okay, hold on.
All right. Well, thank you guys, and we will see you guys next time.
Oh, stop share. Okay. Yay.
Still recording, I think.
Okay, so now you have to push the button.